Minister Heinen Esser, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted about the tremendous response to this conference, and in particular, I would like to welcome the almost 60 participants from our European neighboring countries. Climate values resources. Wood counts. This triad shows the dimension of this event for the future quite clearly, and all of you know that wood from sustainable management provides solutions for central challenges. At the moment, climate change is the major driver for political decisions at national and European level. But we have to stress it repeatedly. It is also a serious threat to our forests. Climate change confronts the forestry and wood industry all across Europe with questions that not only need to be raised but also to be heard. And I would like to stress that our life is not a dress rehearsal, but it requires action according to the principle of responsibility and not to the principle of opportunity. The lowest common denominator would therefore be too little as a result. So my first clear thesis is wood from sustainable management has the potential that we need to use for the transformation toward a bio-based circular economy. And in addition to that, in Europe, wood is also an important economic factor. In the European Union, the renewable resource wood is linked to about 8.9 million jobs and also to an annual turnover of up to 1.4 trillion euro. And for all of these reasons, it is good to take a look at other European member states, what we are doing today. And therefore, I would like to thank the representatives of the ministries in France, Sweden, and Austria for their input. Ladies and gentlemen, forests and wood. In the last 3 years, they have received unexpected attention from politics and media representatives. I come from the Black Forest region, and therefore I welcome this development because I have been accompanying this development for many years, and I know how difficult it has been to stress the importance of forests and to put it high up on the agenda. And therefore we should use this opportunity and seize this opportunity. Many things concern us, other things are encouraging. The role of the forest, their sustainable management, and the opportunities of utilization of wood will be discussed from different angles and are being discussed from different angles. And politics needs to take a holistic view of these developments. We need solutions, and we need to map out what they could look like and implement what is possible as soon as possible. Around 277,000 hectares need to be reforested, and the federal minister Klöckner, this is a very important aspect, reacted very early and launched a comprehensive support package of 1.5 billion euro in the most difficult crisis for the forestry sector. And this is linked to the principle of responsibility. Professor Schellenhuber, I am reminded and have followed your repeated urges, because you are saying that without forest contribution, climate warming cannot be stopped across the globe. And this is a very clear statement and leads me to my second proposition, because it is for this reason that the IPCC identifies sustainable forest management as one of the most cost-effective measures for climate change mitigation. But not all actors are aware of this. So within the context And against the background of these discussions, we need to raise awareness for this topic. I would now like to address a current topic, our current situation. The situation in the forestry and wood industry seems bizarre, not only for external parties. There are different approaches and solutions and statements. And on the one hand, we see that damages in forests lead to an oversupply and a price drop on the raw wood market. And on the other hand, we see a recovery of the all-time low that we experienced over the last years in forest ownership. But going beyond the sawmill, so to speak, we see scarcity and enormous price increases on the market for wood construction products. Several effects apply simultaneously here. There is a strong demand, a strong domestic demand that coincides with an internationally increased demand for sawn timber for construction, especially from the US. But at the same time, the production capacity of the sawmilling industry are fully taken up. So all in all, this development shows one thing quite clearly. There is a demand for wood. And we need to address this question, the question how to place this resource on the market and how to make positive statements regarding wood. Statements that don't lead to people turning to other building and construction materials. Wood-based textiles, chemicals, and materials for lightweight production are currently conquering the market. This is an additional positive aspect that I would like to stress. And I also welcome the fact that the German federal government, German federal parliament commissioned a new building with 400 offices in modern modular construction. And this shows how important it is, and it shows that we are serious about this issue. The initiative of the European Commission for a new European Bauhaus is another example. And Professor Schellenhuber raised this idea and contributed significantly to this development of this strategy. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to ensure that future generations will be able to use wood sustainably and efficiently. And therefore, I would also like to mention the National Forest Summit that took place last year, where our federal minister presented a model that contains climate-adapted measures and includes the forest and wood industry, and is supposed to reward people working in these industries. It is striving for climate stability and also for active CO2 sequestration from the atmosphere by storing it in forests. In order to implement and realize all of this, several steps still need to be taken. But if we don't take the first step, then we will never start the process. And we hope that this will also receive a positive response from society and will be backed up by population. So there are many opportunities on the market, as I mentioned, and we need to show perspectives. And of course, it is also important that policymakers act at all levels and do not allow the discontinuation of sustainable forest management. Because unfortunately, we see some of these developments all across the globe. The demand, we also need to be able to meet the demand with imports, with domestic production, and it should not be met with imports from third parties that have lower standards. So sustainably using wood means to take a comprehensive stance. And this is also what characterizes this dialogue process of the Charter for Wood 2.0. Dr. Müller will present this charter later on, but I would just like to anticipate one figure. The BMEL does not want to blow its own trumpet, but since the charter has been launched in the last 4 years, more than 550 research and development projects have been supported with about 175 million euro. And the federal German states also play a decisive role here. And I think that my colleague from the federal state of North Rhine-Westphalia will address this topic later on. Thank you very much for being a partner in this event, and thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.